Okay, let's take a look at problem 4. Before we do, let's look at conjugates. Conjugates are the sum and difference of the same two terms. For example, the square root of 7 plus the square root of 3 and square root of 7 minus the square root of 3 are conjugates of each other. The product of conjugates is a difference of squares. So square root of 7 plus the square root of 3 times the square root of 7 minus the square root of 3 is always going to be the square of the 7 minus the square of the first term minus the square of the second term, which is 7 minus 3, which is 4. We can use conjugates to simplify a quotient whose denominator is a sum or difference of radicals. So let's look at this one, for example. We have 10 divided by the square root of 7 minus the square root of 2. Well, I can't have radicals in my denominator. It's a law that I can't have. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. The conjugate of square root of 7 minus 2 is the square root of 7 plus 2. Now whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top, so then I'm multiplying by a clever form of 1. That's what that's called. So the square root of 7 plus the square root of 2 over the square root of 7 plus the square root of 2 is equal to 1. So I'm really just multiplying this by 1. I'm just transforming it so that it looks different. So when I do that, I get 10 times the square root of 7 plus the square root of 2. And at the bottom, I just get the square of the first minus the square of the second, which is 7 minus 2, which is 5. So 10 times the square root of 7 plus the square root of 2. I can reduce this. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I get 2 square root of 7 plus square root of 2. Now I can do distributive property and I get 2 square root of 7 plus 2 root 2. So let's do one on our own. So I have negative 3 over square root of 10 minus square root of 5. So I'm going to multiply by the conjugate of that, which is going to be the square root of 10 minus the square root of 5. And I'm going to do that to the bottom as well. And so I'm just multiplying by 1. So I'm just changing the form of it. And when I do that, I get negative 3 times the square root of 10 minus the square root of 5. And at the bottom, I get 10 minus 5. And so I get negative 3 over the square root of 10 minus the square root of 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. This one doesn't reduce like the other one, so it's going to stay like that. And so after that, I just get negative 3 root 10 minus, plus 3 root 10 when I distribute that, all over 5. I hope this helps.